Hello viewers, I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. The bond between India and Indonesia has grown from centuries of cultural exchange to a strong strategic partnership. Recent high-level talks highlighted by Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto's visit to New Delhi have significantly boosted collaboration in defense, maritime security and regional stability with a particular focus on the Indo-Pacific. Both nations are also committed to overcoming economic barriers, paving the way for smoother trade and deeper business ties. Let's take a closer look at this evolving relationship.
India and Indonesia have shared a rich history of cultural and commercial ties spanning over 2 millennia. The influence of Indian civilizations, particularly through the spread of Hinduism, Buddhism, and later Islam, has played a pivotal role in shaping Indonesia's spiritual and cultural landscape. The enduring legacy of India's epic tales such as the Ramayana and Mahabharata continues to inspire Indonesian folk art, traditional dramas, and cultural practices, reflecting the deep-rooted cultural exchange between the two nations. This shared cultural heritage forms the foundation of the strong and enduring bilateral relationship between New Delhi and Jakarta. The recent visit of Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto to India marked a significant milestone in further solidifying these ties. The high-level visit was pivotal in advancing their strategic partnership with a clear emphasis on deepening defense and maritime cooperation. The visit saw both countries signing key agreements that enhance their collaborative efforts in addressing regional security challenges, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region.
आज राष्ट्रपति प्रबोवो के साथ आपसी सहयोग के विभिन्न पहलुओं पर व्यापक चर्चा हुई। रक्षा क्षेत्र में सहयोग बढ़ाने के लिए हमने तय किया है कि डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और सप्लाई चेन में साथ काम किया जाएगा। हमने मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी, साइबर सिक्योरिटी, काउंटर टेररिज्म और डी रेडिकलाइजेशन में सहयोग पर भी बल दिया है। आज मैरीटाइम सेफ्टी और सिक्योरिटी में हुए समझौते से क्राइम प्रिवेंशन, सर्च एंड रेस्क्यू और कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग में हमारा सहयोग और मजबूत होगा।
The enduring relationship between India and Indonesia is rooted in shared histories of resistance against colonial powers, mutual respect for democratic traditions, a commitment to pluralism, and a vision of progressive leadership. Since India launched its Look East policy in 1991 and further advanced it with the Act East policy in 2014, the two countries have seen a remarkable expansion in their bilateral relations. This strengthened partnership was notably furthered during Prime Minister Modi's 2018 visit to Jakarta, where both nations agreed to a comprehensive strategic partnership and endorsed the shared vision of India-Indonesia maritime cooperation, marking a new chapter in their diplomatic ties. Indonesia holds its enduring friendship with India in high esteem, particularly cherishing the vital support India has provided to Indonesia throughout its history.
Indonesia considers India a long-time friend. In our struggle for independence, history tells us that India was one of the first strong supporter of our independence struggle. India sent assistance, financial aid, medical aid in our struggle for independence. Many Indian leaders supported us in our critical time. Therefore, even now, The embassy of the Republic of Indonesia is on a land donated by the Indian government.
India and Indonesia have committed to tackling technical trade barriers that have long hindered smoother economic exchanges between the two nations. In this context, the India-Indonesia CEO Forum held in New Delhi released a joint statement emphasizing 5 key sectors for business collaboration: healthcare, food and agriculture, manufacturing, energy and technology.
Indonesia as a big leader of the ASEAN grouping truly has tremendous potential to further strengthen the relation between ASEAN and India. Businesses have an opportunity to bring our two countries closer together. Businesses recognize practical requirements, and I hope businesses will become the voice for greater engagement and greater partnership between the two countries.
Building on the momentum of these discussions, President Prabowo Subianto's recent visit to India as the chief guest at the Republic Day celebrations was a pivotal movement in further strengthening the strategic partnership between the two nations. The trajectory of India-Indonesia relations appears brighter than ever, with strengthened cooperation across sectors, setting the stage for a prosperous future for both nations.
Moving on. The situation in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan is increasingly dire. In POJK, parents and students are protesting the severe shortage of teachers at a school in Olran village, where children's education is being severely disrupted due to a vacant teaching position. Meanwhile, in POGB, residents of Gilgit city are still waiting for a completed water supply project, leaving many without reliable access to clean water. The growing frustration in both regions highlights the ongoing administrative failures that are affecting the daily lives of residents.
In Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, parents and students from the government boys primary school in Olran village, Jhelum Valley district, staged a protest outside the Deputy Commissioner's office in Hatia Bala town. They demanded the immediate appointment of a teacher, a position vacant for over 2 months. The absence of staff has disrupted children's education, and despite repeated assurances, authorities have failed to resolve the issue.
NTS टेस्ट हुए थे, जिनमें से वहाँ का मुकामी बंदा अमजद लतीफ़ की अपॉइंटमेंट हुई थी और 3 महीने स्कूल में हाजिर होने के बाद उसे महकमा ने अपने साथ दफ्तरी मामूर के लिए अपने साथ अमूर कर लिया मुजफ्फराबाद में। अब उनके मुतबादल कोई टीचर हमें स्कूल में नहीं दिया था और जो दूसरा टीचर स्कूल में मौजूद था उसने 3 क्लासों को पढ़ाना शुरू कर दिया और 3 क्लासों को छुट्टी देकर घर भेज दिया। आज तकरीबन 2 महीने 21 दिन हो गए हैं और हमने कानूनी हर दरवाज़ा खटखटाया, हमें कहीं से भी इंसाफ नहीं मिला।
In Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan, locals are frustrated with ongoing infrastructure projects. A 6-month-long sewage project has exposed poor planning and execution, with incomplete chambers and misplaced slabs risking structural damage. Adding to the woes in POGB, the Gilgit Water Project, initiated 7 years ago, remains incomplete. Residents of Gilgit city report that critical infrastructure like the central water tank and main water lines are still under construction, leaving the community without clean and consistent water.
7-8 साल हो गया है, अब तक प्रॉपर तरीके से जीडीए के अपने जो होना सिस्टम से पानी इशू नहीं हुआ है। मैं एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ इस नगर कॉलोनी का। मैं एज ए सोशल एक्टिविस्ट यहाँ के ज़िम्मेदार बात कर रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पे अभी तक जीडीए के अपनी टैंकी के अंदर जो है ना पानी स्टार्ट नहीं किया। जो सामने जो वाला टैंकी है ये वासा का टैंकी है, उसमें अपने जीडीए के जो लाइन है वहाँ पे पानी मतलब इन किया है। उसके बाद जो मेन पुराने लाइनों से जो है ना अभी पानी इशू है, जिस तरीके से होना चाहिए अभी तक नहीं हुआ है। प्रॉपर प्रेशर से पानी नहीं आ रहा है।
Both POJK and POGB residents are demanding urgent actions to address their grievances. The growing dissatisfaction among residents of these regions underscores the administrative failures and negligence that continue to plague Pakistan-occupied territories.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
The head of the Taliban government in Afghanistan met with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in Kabul on January 26 during talks aimed at boosting bilateral cooperation. Footage released by the West Asia News Agency showed Araghchi seated beside Acting Prime Minister Mullah Muhammad Hassan Akhund and their delegations during a meeting. Earlier, a spokesman from Afghanistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said in a post on X that the visit could be a turning point in leveraging the abundant ties between the two nations to ensure the mutual interests of the two countries. 5 years have passed since the launch of the IOWN, Innovative Optical and Wireless Network project. Its godparent Dr. Katsuhiko Kawazoe has introduced convincing achievements.
こういう IOWN という新しいこの発想だったりこのテクノロジーを見たときにそれぞれの産業の中でこれはこういうふうに使えるかもしれないこれはこういう形で利用することができるっていうことはおそらくは今現在その産業に携わっている人たちが一番よく分かっていると思うんですよね。なのでその人たちと一緒にNTT は連携してこの IOWN をこう広めていくっていうことをしなくちゃいけないというふうに思っています。
Scientist and philosopher Dr. Kawazoe envisions an innovative future rooted in a deep understanding of daily human activities around the world. South Korea's prosecutors indicted impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol on January 26. Yoon's lawyers confirmed that he faces charges of leading an insurrection when he briefly imposed martial law in December. The charges are unprecedented for a South Korean president. If convicted, Yoon could face years in prison. His lawyers criticized the indictment as the worst choice made by prosecutors, while the main opposition party welcomed the decision.
Afghan refugees in Pakistan are facing a devastating setback as the US government suspends visa processing under a new policy, leaving thousands in limbo. Many have spent years preparing for a future in the US with English lessons and resettlement hopes. But now, after years of uncertainty, the decision has left them feeling betrayed. With no clear path forward, Afghan refugees are left grappling with their future in a country already struggling with its own challenges.
On the outskirts of Islamabad, Pakistan's capital, a small English academy for Afghan refugees has become a lifeline for many. But hope turned to despair this week as news broke that the US government would halt visa processing for refugees under President Donald Trump's new policy.
So most of these students, the only thing that they can do here is just getting prepared for America. And one of the main things to do right now is to learn English, because they will go there, they have the hope to go to schools or universities or to get a good job. And without English, it's impossible. So most of them want to learn English and has put their English as like their priority.
The academy serves around 300 Afghan refugees, offering one of the few opportunities for education for the community in a country where they are unable to legally work or formally study. Hasibullah, a 20-year-old teacher at the academy, said his students, normally vibrant and engaged, were visibly distressed after hearing the news.
The day that we heard this news, when I came here and when I went to the classes, like almost 99% of the students that were old enough to be able to think for themselves, they were sad and they looked depressed, and it is your right to be depressed and they have to be depressed. The day that we left Afghanistan, the USCIS has had sent us an email that you should leave Afghanistan as soon as possible in any way. You can do it illegally or legally, it doesn't matter, but you should get to a third country, and we will process your case and you will be soon in America. But we have been living here for 3 years with a hope of going to America or whatever to be safe. But now just when the President Donald Trump came on the media and told us that no, we will not process this case, or maybe we will delay it, indeed you will feel like betrayed.
Nearly 1,660 Afghans cleared by the US government to resettle in the US, including family members of active duty US military personnel, are having their flights cancelled under the orders suspending US refugee programs. For many, Pakistan was the only viable option for the visa process. However, they now face an uncertain future in a country grappling with its own economic and security challenges.
It's really disappointing because I'm waiting for the last 3 years here in Islamabad to be resettled in US, and these last 3 years I'm staying on visa in Pakistan. You can see how hard it is to get the Pakistani visa, and it's about 3 years. My passport was fined 2 times for staying here. Currently I'm trying to handle this trauma because this was going to my future, my new journey, and I was waiting for this. I have spent a lot of time on this, but currently I don't have any idea or any alternative, and I'm hoping for the best.
The US is home to over 200,000 Afghans who arrived as refugees, according to Sean Van Driver, a military veteran and the president of Afghan EVAC, a non-profit that helps people from Afghanistan resettle in America. Around the world, over 40,000 Afghans are still actively pursuing resettlement in the US, with more than 10,000 approved to relocate by the US government. Many of those affected by the pause on the US refugee admissions program are Afghan lawyers and judges who put Taliban fighters behind bars, as well as members of the Afghan military who trained and fought alongside American troops. The families of about 200 active duty US service members are also being impacted. Ahmadzai, like many others, had hoped for a fresh start in the US, but is now left grappling with the emotional and logistical toll of the delay. The US Embassy and State Department have yet to comment on the decision's impact on the Afghans in Pakistan. For refugees like Hasibullah, who have worked closely with the US during their time in Afghanistan, the message is simple. For now, these refugees remain stuck in limbo, their dreams of safety and stability hanging in the balance.
India marked its 76th Republic Day on January 26 with vibrant displays of grandeur, patriotism and national pride, showcasing the country's rich cultural heritage and remarkable achievements. The celebrations culminated in a spectacular parade at the iconic Kartavya Path in the heart of the nation's capital, where dignitaries, soldiers and cultural groups gathered to honor the democratic foundation that defines India. The Republic Day Parade, the heart of India's 76th Republic Day celebrations, unfolded as a magnificent tribute to the nation's rich history, cultural diversity and unwavering spirit. More than 18 marching contingents, 31 stunning tableaux and nearly 5,000 talented artists came together for this grand spectacle. The event commenced with President Draupadi Murmu unfurling the national flag, a gesture that set the tone for a day filled with pride and unity. The parade was further electrified by breathtaking stunts performed by daredevils and mesmerizing aerial formations by the Indian Air Force, adding an exhilarating touch to the ceremony and captivating the audience with every moment. The spectators were filled with excitement and anticipation much before the parade approached. Having seen the event on TV in previous years, they were eager for the opportunity to experience it in a new and more personal way.
पहले तो टीवी पे वगैरह पे देखा करते थे बहुत बार, तो इस बार मौका मिला है तो अच्छी बात है, मतलब देखते हैं कैसा रहेगा।
पहली बार है ये, हमने टीवी में देखी आज तक, अब देखने को मिल रहा है तो मौका तो क्यों मिस करें हम।
Across the nation, towns and cities were illuminated in the vibrant hues of the tricolor. In Kashmir, a remarkable display of unity took place with the Tiranga bike rally, where local youth came together to celebrate patriotism. Hundreds of participants hailing from villages across the region rode through the streets waving the national flag, symbolizing not only their love for the country but also the region's transformation towards peace and progress. This event marked a powerful shift towards harmony, reinforcing the spirit of unity and national pride.
26 जनवरी है तो हमने बाइक रैली जो निकाली है भोजपुर से बलालन तक, तो बहुत ही खुश है, बहुत मज़ा आ रहा है। वो बहुत सारे हमारे नौजवान इसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया, घर से खुद निकले, तो बहुत ही अच्छा फील कर रहे हैं। तो यहाँ पर आज माहौल भी अच्छा है, तो बहुत ही मज़ा आ रहा है।
From schools and colleges to local communities, celebrations took place across the country with various cultural programs reflecting India's diverse traditions. The beating retreat ceremony, a grand finale to the Republic Day festivities, saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Draupadi Murmu, accompanied by Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and other dignitaries, attend the poignant event. The ceremony was fitting end to the celebrations, culminating in a mesmerizing display of music and patriotism, leaving the nation filled with pride and reverence for its democratic values. India's 76th Republic Day was a resounding reminder of the strength, unity, and diversity that define this great nation. A celebration of unity, diversity, and the spirit of India proudly marching into a bright future. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.